Ya Devlet Paşa, ya Kuruluş.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What are we doing today, Ibrahim?
Today we are talking about everything wrong with Kurulus Osman and how they can improve that.
And to be honest, we're going to go in depth. We're going to go through the intricacies, we're going to go through the storyline, we're going to go through the villains, everything wrong. But before we do any of that, we have to say that, we're not haters. We started Ertugrul, 6 years ago?
Yeah, around that time.
6 years ago we started Ertugrul, watching Ertugrul. Before anyone, definitely in Pakistan, but even before anyone in the UK, we were the ones that were telling everyone about Ertugrul. And so we're not haters. We just see a show, an amazing show with so much intricacies, a unique show turning into Bollywood. That's what we see. And it's saddening, especially at the Ottoman state level now that it's become in Kurulus Osman. Anyways, let's get on to
The
villains. Now villains, who was the main villain?
Togai and Nicola.
Let's talk about Nicola. This man sits in his castle 24/7 doing nothing. A good villain has to
Pose a threat.
pose a threat. And Nicola has posed no threat whatsoever. This man has back pains. Because all he does every day is sit on his wooden chair. Please, someone start a GoFundMe page for Nicola so that we can get him a proper gaming chair. Because respect to the man. He's got back pains for the show. But he's done nothing. All he does is say, the Turks will die today, Like, be quiet, man. We don't want to hear any of it anymore. Anyways, the guy, he was bigged up at the beginning so much. What did they say to about him?
They said he was Shaman Togai. And he was the son of Nayan. Nayan's sick villain. That means Togai is meant to be a sick villain, but what happened?
They bigged him up. They said he's the son of Noyan. They said he grew up in the forest. He was born in the forest. And then you come to the thing and all he has is a deep voice, deep growling, auto-tuned voice made on the computer. And he poses no threat as well at the same time. He started, he got bossed around by that Amir. When he started punching Osman, he punched him 5 times and Osman didn't feel anything, and then Osman headbutted him and he went like flying or something. There's such an amazing storyline with Togai. Would have been if Togai came at the beginning of season 2. Okay, the beginning of season 2 was amazing. Let me get that disclaimer out. It was unbelievable, yeah? But as soon as Osman became Bey, everything went downhill. And we'll talk about that more. But if Togai came at the beginning of season 2, or whenever he came, and him and Osman had a fight, yeah? Imagine if Togai actually came and beat Osman in a fight, the first time he came, and Osman was rescued by his Alps. And then Osman went back and started training. Maybe he trained in the woods or something, or in the mountains with Gokdo himself. Then you know that this villain is serious. He's a serious guy. Not like this, he's just a joke. He's a joke. All he does is dance around fire all day. And even the way he killed Abdurrahman, I felt sad. The man that they developed so well throughout Ertugrul. He just killed him with an arrow. And it was just like, with his weird stance that he has, and just out of nowhere as well. It's just, there's no storyline to it at all. Next is, Nicolas hasn't even fought once, I think. I think once he tried to fight Bamsi and Bamsi like beat him or something. It's just, there's no threat to these villains. Remember when Noyan would fight, like we wouldn't know who's better, Ertugrul or Noyan. And the time that Ertugrul did beat Noyan, Noyan was injured. This is the sort of threat that they need to create in villains. But now let's go on to storyline. What you need for a good storyline is plot twists. Every trailer of season 2 has been the exact same trailer. Has it not?
Yeah.
It's been the exact same trailer of Osman saying, we will establish a state or something. The whole storyline about Umar Bey disobeying Osman.
Yeah, he just disobeys Osman and then nothing happens, like.
Yeah, and then Osman tells him, don't disobey me next time or something, and he gets angry with him, and then they go back to disobeying him. And so the storyline has no twists. Osman hasn't been in danger at all throughout the whole season. He's only been in danger in the once in maybe the 2nd episode. After that, he just stands in his tent all day doing nothing. And whenever he goes out, he always goes out with his army. And contrast that with Ertugrul. Ertugrul would be out himself, doing missions himself. Osman's always going out with his army. What is that? It's just, it's a disappointment. And this whole thing about season where they establish a state, we expected big things of them. For them to still be standing in their tent 24/7 and standing in the woods, it's a big disappointment from our side. But now let's move on to intricacies. What were we missing in terms of the intricacies, Ibrahim?
They don't have no relationship whatsoever, even with themselves and their Bay Osman.
There's no character development of anyone. Goktu, okay, he had season 1 character development, but imagine if Goktu, like, remember when in Ertugrul, when they used to go on missions together, just like 2 or 3 of them, or when Turgut would do stuff on his own, that's where you get character development. And even between the Alps, there's no sitting down, having meals together, making jokes together. There's none of that anymore. It's all about just Osman doing this all day and showing how powerful he is, or making big speeches, or doing slow motion in his tent. In Ertugrul, it was Ertugrul against a majority of people. It was a small amount of good people against a big amount of bad people. Now, an interesting thing is, let's talk about the scene where the messengers come into the tent, to Osman's tent. It's all of Osman and his bays standing around one messenger, and then he bullies him. He's bullying the messenger with all of his Alps. What's the difference between him and the bad guy? So we have that. In Ertugrul, it used to be small amount of good guys against a big amount of bad guys, and the small guys would overcome them. Just as in Islamic creed, the small guys would overcome them. And now it's just become Osman moving around with his army all the time, or his... Let's talk about Buran. This man is the most useless Alp ever. We don't care if he's about his love life. We don't care about how much he pants when he looks around when he's on a mission. He's useless. They need to get good Alps. Let's talk about the injuries. When Ertugrul had his hand pinned by Noyan, he couldn't move that hand for how many months or something.
Yeah.
And that led to so many other things as well, where the tribe people started to think of him as weak. When Gunduz got his hand done in, he was fighting the next episode or something. When Osman had an arrow shot through his hand, he went like this. What is this? Are you showing? Is this a Marvel movie or something?
Yeah, Bollywood, bro.
Is this Bollywood? Okay, let's move on to Bollywood. We know that Kurulus Osman, famous in Pakistan. I believe, as does this man, my senior analyst, we believe that because Pakistan is so big on Bollywood, for that reason, Mehmet Bozdag is trying to appease the Pakistani audience and turning Kurulus Osman into Bollywood. You see the scenes where Osman throws the knife onto the ring. Remember?
Yeah.
Donda's ring. It's just silly. It's not real life. No one cares. These are scenes where an audience that is used to Bollywood films, where everything's over exaggerated, they would be like, wow, look at this. But when you care about intricacies, when you care about the way someone flips a knife and handles it, these things, they're just silly. It's like a Marvel or DC movie. We don't want it. So what we have is, we've briefly talked about villains. We've briefly talked about the storyline, how it's missing any plot twists.
Intricacies.
How there's no intricacies, there's no relationship between Al. At this moment of time, there's a lot of talk over, will Turgut return or whatever. There was a lot of talk. I don't want him to return. And I'll tell you why. Why do you think, guys?
Because just like how Bouncy returned, they destroyed him. Like, they made him a bad character. Like, his story was bad in season 1, season 2. His story was bad.
I know that if they bring Turgut back, they're gonna finish him. He'll just be a boring guy who they'll use as just to remind people of Ertugrul. There will be no development around him. That's why I don't want him back. That's something that maybe I would like to get your opinions on, your views on. But these are the small things that we noticed in Kurulus Osman. Why it's going downhill, it will go downhill if something doesn't fix up. Osman is not good at being a bey. He's rude, he's so full of himself. I don't care how good looking you think he is. There's nothing. All he does is suck in his cheeks like this all the time, and he goes like, do the thing he does.
Yeah.
do the Flatios head move. I'm telling you, Kurulus Osman, please fix up. You know, Mehmet Bozdag, we appeal to you. We appeal to you to not turn this show into Bollywood. We appeal to you to add intricacies, Stop hiring useless
Boxing fighters.
What is Genjebe, man? Come on, let's not be silly here. But we're being objective here. He's a rubbish actor. He's terrible. Even if he's not terrible and he's actually a good actor, he was given a dead storyline. Things need to change in that regard. Credit to Mehmet Bozdag for the first 4 episodes of Kurulus Osman. They were amazing. But now we are on episode 30 something. The past 20 episodes have been the same thing with Malhun Hatun. Do Malhun Hatun smile 1 second? Please fix up. For the sake of the Ertugrul viewers, for the sake of everyone, you know, you've done a great job with Ertugrul. Please, you can turn this into something great. We hope that, you know, we can reach you through these videos. We'll be doing reaction videos, so every episode we're going to react to, coming this next episode, which is episode 63, I believe.
63.
So we're going to be reacting to each Kurulus Osman episode. We're going to be breaking it down, and yeah, I hope you stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.